My name's Megan. I am the head of partnerships at the New York State Brewers Association. On this call with me is Chloe Kay, who is our marketing manager. And all right, good morning. And this meeting is part of the annual New York State Craft Brewers Conference. Oh, we need someone to get on mute, please.
George is jamming out.
Probably can't even hear me. I can mute him, right?
There he goes. Hey, George.
All right, thanks. Good morning. Yeah, so thanks for taking the time to be here as part of the annual conference, which is presented by DWS Printing. We could have had this meeting anytime, but the conference kind of gave us a nice opportunity to connect here. And I hope that you will join us for the happy hour on Friday evening, where we have live music from a BMI artist, Simil. And it just gives us a chance to hang out and chat and have a beer together. Brewery representatives and allied members and staff all come together on that. So let's just start out with a little quiz. How about get your minds going here. And if you already have participated in something where you know the answer, let other people have a chance to have a little glory here. Okay, so the first question, just go ahead and type your answers in chat. That would be great. First question is, the first known brewery in New York State was in what year? I'm going to give you four options: 1776, 1802, 1623, or 1720. Who's got the answer there? First brewery in New York State: 1776, 1802, 1623, or 1720.
A lot of 1720 guesses.
Good guess, but not correct. The first brewery was in Manhattan in 1623. So New York can claim having the first oldest craft brewery in the country. Okay, second question. The second oldest family-owned craft brewery in the United States. Four options again: Genesee Brewing, Brooklyn Brewery, FX Matt Brewing, or Clemson Brothers Brewery. So those four options are Genesee, Brooklyn, FX Matt, or Clemson. Oldest family run, second oldest family run in the country. Well, this was apparently a much easier question for many of Sloop. It is FX Matt Brewing Company. Yes, they are the second oldest family-run brewery in the country. Okay, last question. Let's see here. In 1825, New York was the top producer of which brewing ingredient? Barley, yeast, grapes, or hops? Yeah, before I even finish. Okay, so we have some breweries on the call, and so that may have been a little bit easier for the breweries to answer that than some of our allied. So at the time, it was 40,000 acres of hops grown in New York State, and now we are back up to 500 acres here in New York State. Mike wants to know if he won. What did you win? You won allied membership for life. That's what you won. How's that sound? All right. Okay. Well, thanks for participating in our little quiz here. I have a presentation I'm going to run you through. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Chloe, can you see my screen?
Yep, it looks good.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay. How to leverage your allied membership. I know we have some current allies on the call. We have some perspectives. We have some breweries. This is kind of a general overview of what allied membership means and how to get involved. It would be helpful if I could switch the slide now.
If you go, there you go.
There we go. Okay, so we're going to do a quick overview of what the NYSBA is. Of course, that stands for the New York State Brewers Association. We'll get a little industry update. We'll talk about communication strategies that work. And typically we don't have many brewery representatives when we have these allied meetings, but we're lucky enough to have some on the call today. So they are welcome to chime in and give some additional feedback. Ineffective strategies. This is over the course of 5 years for me in this position, hearing from breweries what they do not like to hear from allied members. So I wanted to share that as well. And then looking ahead to 2021, what we have planned. Obviously, during this pandemic, it's been very difficult to plan and strategize, but we do have some exciting things on the horizon that we'll be talking about. I do encourage you to ask questions throughout. You can just drop them in chat. You can unmute yourself and interrupt. It's okay. I'm happy to have as much participation as we need to engage and answer your questions and come together as a community. Okay, so the New York State, whoops, sorry, I gotta go back. The New York State Brewers Association was founded by David Kaleski, who is the founder of Empire Brewing. The first executive director was Paul Leone, hired in 2014. He's still our executive director, which makes him one of the veterans in the country. He's very, very well respected throughout the United States. Many other state guild leaders look to Paul for answers and guidance. He's an incredible asset for us here in New York State. So membership is really two parts. We have brewery members and we have allied members. And when I say allied members, I'm kind of lumping in the sponsors and the official sponsoring partners and the sponsoring members all under the umbrella of allied membership. But those two pillars, if you will, make up our membership base. Not our whole community. The whole community would be the breweries, the allied members, and then the enthusiasts. We used to have an enthusiast program where individuals could be members of the association. We did away with that program. It was very labor intensive for the return on investment. But even though individuals can't be members of the association, they're very much a part of our community. So pretty much every state in the country has their own state level association or guild. We all operate independently. New York is the second in the country behind California, and they're kind of way ahead. When I joined, again, 5 years ago, we were about number 6 in the country. So we've had growth in New York that has outpaced industry averages, and that's just super exciting. It's very much, you know, my goal and our teams to really help bring New York State to be synonymous with craft beer. We want consumers nationwide, when they think craft beer, they think New York, not just the West Coast, you know, California, Oregon, Washington. We don't want them just thinking about Colorado and Vermont. We really have positioned our state nicely to be part of that conversation. So in a nutshell, what we do at the New York State Brewers Association is legislation, education, and consumer awareness. And we do operate now 3 different websites. Of course, you've been on the NYSCBC.com this week. That is the new website dedicated to the annual conference. We have Think New York, Drink New York. It's actually thinkNY.com. And that's our consumer-facing information and content. And then everything related to brewery resources and information and connecting allies to breweries is all on the organizational website, which is NewYorkCraftBeer.com. So here's the team, the 4 of us at the NYSBA, Paul Leone. This is just, you know, very, very brief summary of who's responsible for what. So when you have a question, you kind of have a sense of who the best point person is within our team to answer that question for you. So Paul obviously oversees everything, runs strategy, and really focuses on legislation, which is no small challenge. Here in New York, the political climate has, for the most part, been pretty favorable toward the craft beer industry, but it's not without a lot of effort to push forward legislation that's positive and to prevent destructive legislation from rearing its ugly head. So I'm in charge of all of the partnerships, the sponsorships, and allied membership. Chloe Kay is our newest team member. She's been with us for just almost quite a year and a half. And she heads up all of the design, all the merchandise, all of our marketing and communications is with Chloe. And then Jen Myers heads up our events. She pretty much single-handedly produces all of our festivals and virtual tasting experiences. And then she would be the primary point person for brewery members. If you have any questions about your benefits or how to get involved, Jen would be your best contact. Okay, so I mentioned that we do have that third website, which is thinkny.drinkny.com. Think New York, Drink New York is our rallying cry. It's our consumer awareness campaign. And this phrase, this tagline was introduced about 3 years ago. And we enveloped it into a whole mission. And it's almost like a separate business within the NYSBA. So it's a consumer-facing campaign. The mark that you see here on the right of the slide is the mark that we encourage all breweries to use on menus, on signage, especially on packaging. We want to make it really easy for consumers to support New York State craft breweries. And they can't do that if they can't easily identify where the beer or where the brewery is from. I myself get frustrated when I'm standing in front of a wall of beer and I'm turning around every can because I don't remember all nearly 500 breweries within the state, and I absolutely want to support New York craft breweries. On that website, we have a lot of stories. We try to tell the stories behind the breweries, maybe how they got their name or how they came to be, how they were established. A little bit more of the personal side of the stories, hearing from the owners about why they started a brewery and what were they doing beforehand. I know Ethan Cox from Community Beer Works is on the call, and we've got a little bit of background about his brewery on our stories page. So I know during COVID, you're not getting out and visiting breweries as much, but check out the stories on that page. Get to know some of the breweries through the stories and the information that we've shared. We have a lot of consumer-facing events, which have really sustained the guild during the last 9 months. Typically, we would have in-person festivals. They are primary revenue drivers for the association. This year, we have converted those to virtual, and it has been extremely successful for us. So if you are not already, please follow us on Facebook, on our Facebook page. That is all consumer-facing content. So that's where you're going to learn about ticket sales for upcoming events, and you're going to learn about new merchandise available. It's really the best way to have a pulse on kind of what's happening with the NYSBA on the consumer side. And I talked a little bit about merchandise. We've really grown the merchandise program. That's really, Chloe has done an incredible job. Our merchandise program has grown 400% in the last year. It's an incredible way for us to keep promoting the brand of Think New York, Drink New York, encouraging people to be thinking about New York craft beer when they think about beer. And it's been a really nice revenue stream for us during this challenging time as well. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the industry impact here. So as I said, the New York State Brewers Association is second in the country. That means we have the second most number of craft breweries in the country. California is about 1,000. So we're solidly in second. We won't be achieving that pole position anytime soon. And that's okay. We're really happy being second because it's been incredible growth over the last 5 years. There's a number missing from the beginning of this, this slide, 40 plus licensed breweries in New York State. It's well over that. It's close to 500 licensed breweries in New York State. We have 268 with farm brewing licenses and 280 microbreweries. So Chloe, if you can put the correct number in the chat function.
Yeah, sorry, Megan. 480 plus.
480 plus. Great. That's what threw me off when I first got to the slide. I'm like, what is this number here? So a lot of companies will talk to me about whether or not New York is the right market, if they should join the NYSBA, if there's good opportunity. The answer is yes. There's plenty of opportunity here in New York State with 480 plus breweries. And what I often encourage allied prospects is join the state in which you operate, in which you're doing business. It's a great way to kind of get involved with the industry. It's always good to show this support for the state in which you operate, and then join New York and California, right? And then get the coast covered and join the top 2 guilds in the country. Pretty much every guild charges the same. It's $500 on an annual basis for allied membership. That is almost 100% across the board. That is what the fee is to join the NYSBA as an allied member. It runs on a calendar basis. There's no prorating. And so that works out to just over $1 a brewery, which is a great deal here in New York. So our big challenge, and why we really developed and launched the Think New York, Drink New York campaign, is this statistic here, which is scary, slowly moving.
Hello.
Can you mute, please?
Good morning. I'm okay. You?
If you make me co-host, I can help.
There you go. I just muted him. We're all good. Thanks, Clay. So only 6% of craft beer drinkers in New York are consuming New York-made craft beer. That's kind of a heartbreaking statistic. I don't have an updated number, a current number on that. I hope that with the Think New York, Drink New York campaign, I can only assume that number's higher. But the point is that we're underdogs. We've got a long way to go before New York craft beer really is part of the everyday beer drinking lexicon and culture, if you will. But we did an economic impact study in 2018 with some pretty impressive numbers here. 20,000 full-time jobs, that's the equivalent of 20,000 full-time jobs, are generated by the New York craft beer industry. And that's a number that I'm personally really, really proud of. And that's why I do the work that I do, is because of the human aspect, the impact that we have on communities in which breweries exist, and the jobs and the opportunity for people to come together in community. And I'll just tell you a little anecdote. I was driving with my then 6-year-old in the car a couple years ago. We were talking about my brother and sister-in-law are both social workers. And I was explaining to my daughter how they work with the mentally ill and they work with the homeless, and they do really great work. She paused and she said, yeah, wow, I didn't realize they had such important jobs. That's really cool. I said, yeah, it is. It's great. There was another pause and she said, well, you have a really important job too, Mom. You do really good work. I said, I do. So she's 6. So I'm expecting her to say, yeah, you make beer and beer makes people happy, which would have been an appropriate 6-year-old answer. But instead she said, yeah, you help to generate jobs and people need jobs to survive. And so she's heard me. She's heard my talk. Thanks, George, for the thumbs up. So this is why we do what we do, right? It's not just about the liquid that the breweries pour, which is, of course, some of the best in the country is coming out of New York State. But it's a $5.4 billion economic impact annually. And this third number, I want to call out to all of you because it's really important strategy for you to get out and visit breweries. So 48 million, it's actually just over that, almost 49 million brewery visits happen each year. And of course, this is pre and post COVID times, not necessarily the year in which we exist right now. So the number of breweries throughout history here, you can see we went down to almost 0, single digits. And New York has made a really, really great climb back up. Like we said, it's now 483 craft breweries here in New York State. So this is pretty impressive. Although it did take us it took us about 150 years to get back to that first number on the graph here in 1876. Took us over 100 years to get back to that number. I remember when we hit that back in about 2017. Okay, so here's some strategies that sell, right? Because allieds join the association because it feels good, it's fun, it's the right thing to do. But ultimately you're doing it to generate business, right? You want to work with our brewery members. And that's great because you provide really valuable resources and services that help our breweries to save time, save money, and to grow more efficiently. So here's the first strategy. Attend the events, face-to-face, even virtual. Be there, show up, change your name on the Zoom so that it's your name and the company you work for. Wear a name tag when you come to our brewers meetings. Attend as much as you can. Keep showing up. Meet people. Connect with people face to face. That really is what this industry is all about. Stopping by the brewery. So if you don't already have the app on your phone, I really encourage you to download it. It's free. We were the first state in the country to have an app. You can find every brewery in the state. You can map out little tours for yourself. If you're saying, oh, I'm heading up to the Adirondacks this weekend, I wonder what breweries I can visit. Use the app, map them all out. You can track which breweries you have visited. You do earn app rewards, but that's not in your case, it's not the key reason to have the app. It's really to find out what's available and stop by. And again, I understand now you may not be comfortable visiting breweries, but as things warm up and open up, hopefully you will incorporate this in your strategy of doing business in the craft beer industry. So provide value. Position yourselves and your company as a resource, as an expert, as opposed to we're trying to sell our product, right? When somebody who owns or operates a brewery has a question, you want to be the company that they think of, right? They have a question about PPP, you want to be the accounting firm that they think of. They have a question about trademark, you want to be the law firm that they think about, right? It's the long game in a lot of cases here in this industry. You want to make those relationships, stay top of mind by showing up at events, and you want to provide information that's really, really helpful. And that goes along with being an industry expert, right? Be the company that develops the reputation, or be the person that develops that reputation as solutions oriented and the most knowledgeable. So assimilate into the culture. So what I mean by that is the craft beer industry has a pretty specific culture and vibe. And I'm not suggesting you need to grow a beard and wear hipster glasses and flannels. I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is that you examine the culture of the industry in which your business is, but also look at how it differs from the craft beer industry, right? In this industry, people are very friendly. It's a highly collaborative industry. People really value personal relationships, and word of mouth referrals goes a very long way in this industry. People typically don't like to get up very early in this industry. They work late nights. They're very busy, as a general rule of thumb. Very busy, smart people own and operate breweries. And so when you're attending an event or you're approaching a brewery, think about their culture as opposed to your own, right? If you typically wear a suit to work and you're going to an NYSBA event, in the typical realm in which you work, suits are perfectly appropriate. But when you come to a festival, you kind of stand out and you differentiate yourself from the community, as opposed to coming with that relaxed vibe that really defines this industry. And then promoting your allied membership. You have a lot of benefits to take advantage of as an allied member. And the number one thing you can do is to say you're an allied member, to promote that, to use the marks. Because if a business doesn't know that you're an allied, they can't support you back. And we have heard from 70 to 80% of our brewery members have said that they look at that partners and allies page on our website when deciding whether or not to do business with a company. In general, the breweries of New York State want to do business and support companies that are supporting the NYSBA. It's this beautiful circle of life, right? Where you've got breweries look for resources from the allies do good business here in New York State and participate in the NYSBA. The NYSBA then has more resources with which to support the New York State craft beer industry as a whole. And 75% of breweries have said that they want to hear from you. So, that means participating in the resources that we'll get into here, which are the benefits available to you.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you check the waiting room? I'm getting quite a few emails. I think there's some people that might be stuck in there.
Oh, okay. Excuse me 1 second here. Chloe, I just made you co-host so that you can handle that, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Thank you. Okay, there we go.
Okay, great. So we'll continue here. So the bottle cap logo of the NYSBA has been available for use by allied members for many years. What we did this year is we added that banner across the bottom for the allied members. So it's slightly different. Chloe will post in the chat the link to download all of the logos so that you can make sure you're using this current version. Okay. Okay, great. So, using the logo and mark. So just as we are encouraging the breweries to use the Think New York, Drink New York on their packaging, we encourage the allied members and partners to use this mark, this logo in your communications. Put it on your email signature. Put it on any collateral that you create geared toward the brewing industry. Put it on your website. Do a short run of business cards that you keep with you so when you visit a brewery, you've got this on it. That is the absolute biggest thing is to go out and communicate the fact that you are an allied member. It goes a long way. We've surveyed the breweries and they have indicated that it's meaningful to them to see that the company is supporting New York State. So submitting content. You have a variety of ways to submit content, which will help position your company as a thought leader and a resource and a go-to for the breweries. You can submit blog posts. You can do that at any time during the year. We do have blog guidelines that we insist that you follow. But typically blog posts are published within 48 hours of receiving them. And that's really great content, really great value for the breweries. So go ahead and submit me content. You can just email me whenever you have a piece ready. You can also submit longer pieces, white papers, articles, presentations, even videos. You can submit that, which would live in our evergreen section, live in the resources section of the website. It's a little kind of disorganized right now, but we are going to work on that. But don't hesitate to send us any content that you have and we'll post it to that section. And those are, that's information that's maybe less timely, more kind of more general information that you have. You're also welcome to email me content for our brewery only Facebook group. So we have a group on Facebook. Allieds are not allowed to join. It's moderated by NYSBA staff, mostly me. But it's just content for the breweries. It's a place where breweries can share resources and ideas, and NYSBA communicates things that are brewery specific there. We do share content from allied members though. So you're always welcome to send me content for that. Pictures and videos work especially well when we're talking about social media. Okay, redeem tickets. So as allied members or partners or any level in between, you have the right to complimentary tickets to attend our festivals. I know it was hard in 2020. We do have plans for 2021. But even prior to the pandemic, very few allied members ever took advantage of those tickets. Those are your tickets. They don't have to be for a specific staff person. They don't even have to be for a staff person. You can gift those to a client, really. You could use those as a sales incentive. They're your tickets to use, and we highly encourage you to use them and to show up with those tickets. And just as a little side note tip here, when you use your tickets, you do not have to wait in the long entry line with the general public. You go straight to will call, so you avoid the line altogether. So keep that in mind should you use your tickets this summer. And then staying in touch. The companies that stay in touch with me throughout the year have the best return on their allied investment. Staying in touch, let me know what's going on in your business, new products, new promotions, anything you have on of interest to breweries. Did someone just have a question? No, okay. Staying in touch with me, helping me understand what your business does and what you have to offer is fantastic. And being the first to hear about what we're about to roll out or what we're planning is great for you. So staying in touch with me, I am your primary contact on the allied side. Okay, so here are some ineffective strategies of things not to do, which may work in other industries, but we have found that they do not work in the craft beer sector. Email marketing campaigns. The NYSBA has some pretty aggressive communication campaigns and strategies for the breweries. They hear from us a lot. And so we don't give out the brewery email contact list to our allied members because email marketing campaigns are not effective strategies. And so if we gave out that email list, we're kind of perpetuating this false notion that it's a good strategy. It's not. Emailing breweries kind of excessively typically does not work to generate any business for you. Cold calling also is not a super effective strategy for doing business. Because again, that word of mouth, that referral, the relationships, that's the culture of the industry. There's no need to cold call when you've got the value of allied membership available to you. Excessive name dropping, that's when you might say something like, well, I talked to Paul Leone and he told me I should call you and Paul said this, and A, the staff don't like to be put in that position. But B, it doesn't position your company in any way, shape, or form as being a resource and a leader. So excessive name dropping, it's happened enough that I've had to add this bullet point on the slide. Poor customer service. This is pretty obvious. But if you work with one brewery and you give them a great experience, it's going to pick up momentum from there. So really, in addition to once you get your foot in the door and you're trying to make that sale with the brewery, think about the value and the service and really taking care of that brewery, and then think about the next step of your growth and working in this industry. And then guilting a contact into responding. And that's when, you send emails like, I've emailed you 4 times already and haven't received a response. As I said earlier, I have never met a smarter, harder working group of people than brewery owners and operators. And people are just extremely busy. So don't guilt them into reaching out to you. Give them a reason to reach out to you. Send them something of value. I was a couple months ago talking with Marathon Energy and David Bennis, one of the energy advisors, just kind of offhanded started talking about how farm breweries don't pay sales tax on their energy use. And it was like, what? Really? And so I shared that in the Facebook page, and instantly they had 6 inquiries. But it wasn't a sales pitch. It was just a statement of truth of one of the ways that breweries could be saving some money. It's just a nice little nugget of information that opened the doors to several brewery prospects for them. A couple things that I wanted to share with you, consider them noteworthy. We launched our YouTube channel in conjunction with the virtual conference. So our YouTube channel has only been live for about a week and a half. All the sessions are recorded and posted on the YouTube channel where they will live forever. And so far, we've had over 800 views of the conference content on YouTube already, which is fantastic. So in addition to people watching it live and engaging, this content will help breweries for a long time to come. But I just wanted to point that out. The level of engagement of the conference is really much bigger than what you can see when you just participate in an individual session. So we do have a date on the calendar for our 2020 conference at the Albany Cap Center, just shiny, new, beautiful conference center right in downtown Albany. And those dates are March 9th through the 12th. And we don't have hotel information available just yet, but I'll probably have that in the next month or so. So that's super exciting. That's a big step up from the Desmond. Our fall festival that used to take place at Desmond still will. It's no longer going to be tied with the conference, sorry, not fall, winter festival that took place at the Desmond will still take place at the Desmond. It won't be tied to the conference any longer. We do have newsletter advertising available starting this year in 2021. The reason why we launched that is because it's just another way to get in front of breweries, but because we realized that our open rates on our emails are 3 times industry average. We have really, really good engagement on those newsletters. And so we're offering that as an opportunity, as a way for allied members to get in front of breweries. And you know, we're happy to work with you to do advertorials where it's not just an ad, although ads are okay too. The newsletters go out twice a month, typically. And then our big thing that we're working on post-conference, we can kind of breathe again and focus on the next project, is a new NYSBA website. We are painfully aware of the fact that the resources are in need of reorganization, making it a lot easier for breweries to find all the information they need. A lot of that content comes from you, the allied members. And then the pages that you see, the resource pages, the sponsor profiles that you see on the conference website, we're looking to emulate that same model. So those are mini websites, micro sponsor websites, if you will, that would be on the new redesign of the NYSBA website, which is NewYorkCraftBeer.com. So that's a really nice value add benefit where you'll be able to put up photos and videos and links. It won't just be your logo on the partner and allied page anymore. Okay, so looking at 2021, something subject to change, of course, but as of now, we're looking at the New York Craft Beer Competition in June. That used to take place in the wintertime, and we did have the fastest growing state competition in the country at the time that we had to reinvent with COVID. So we're excited to get back to that competition. We had, I think, about 1,000 entries last year. So pretty formidable and very meaningful for breweries that enter and win. We're looking at our festival to take place in Buffalo. The festivals are consumer facing, of course, but we always pair a B2B opportunity with the consumer facing festival. So there'll be a brewers meeting in the morning or the afternoon of the festival. So we're looking at June in Buffalo for that one. We've got the Summer of Love collaboration beer, which will be rolled out the end of June this year. So look for that. It's a great way to support New York craft beer is to get your hands on that. It's basically a statewide collaboration where breweries across New York will brew their own version of the Summer of Love, all with the same can art. And so you can pick up from multiple breweries and kind of do a taste test of the different varieties. The Peace, Love, Beer and Music Festival. This is a new event of ours. We are in collaboration with Omegang to produce an event that includes camping, live music, a craft beer festival, kind of vendors, experiential elements like a brew bag competition, We're just getting underway of the planning on that, but it is slated for the first weekend of September. And any consumer-facing brand, I will be reaching out to you to see about getting you involved in that. There will be a B2B component, which isn't fleshed out just yet, at the very least a brewers meeting. And this is an opportunity for about 40 breweries to pour. Like I said, we're in the beginning stages of fleshing that out, but stay tuned. This is where staying in touch with me goes a long way, because we have very limited spots for sponsors and partners and vendors at that event. And then November, we're looking to get back to our Syracuse Festival. That is our longest running festival, kind of beloved at the Historical Landmark Theater. And that takes place in mid-November with the Brewers meeting, of course. And then Pint Days takes place around Thanksgiving week in November. And, just chime into chat if you would here so we can see. How many of you participated in Pint Days last year? We had these beautiful collectible glasses. They were sold at breweries all around New York State. They were an incredible fundraising campaign for the NYSBA and a great way to drive traffic to local breweries. How many people participate in Pint Days? Pick those up maybe as holiday gifts, that kind of thing. So typically the end of summer is when I roll out opportunities for the following year. Things are a little wonky this past summer. We're a little late for obvious reasons, but usually in August is when I start sending out communications of all the opportunities, and a lot will sell out. We look for partners on the regional meetings. We're doing those virtually right now, but when we roll those out in person, again, we'll be looking for partners, speaking opportunities associated with them. We are looking for a new sponsor of the competition. And there's, of course, with the conference going back to in-person at the CAP Center, there's going to be exhibiting and sponsoring opportunities. We will have 85 exhibit spots, and they will sell out. They absolutely will sell out. We had sold out of the Desmond, which was, gosh, I think that was 80 spots with a 12 company wait list. So when I roll out the opportunity for exhibiting, you're gonna wanna move on that, because once those 85 spots are gone, I can't create more spots. So the most important thing I can say here is thank you for your support. It is really largely because of our allies and our partners that the NYSBA has survived and also thrived during COVID. We had so many sponsors and partners of the conference that rolled over from the canceled event in 2020, and that support was just amazing, that we were able to offer 10 days and close to 50 conference sessions, all completely free for any brewery employee in the state to attend. So we really, really appreciate it. And we hope that you will stick with us for many years to come. If you're not already a current Allied member, please renew right away. Take advantage of as many months of benefit as you can. Like I said, we don't prorate. We're not going to offer a discount in July. So join now so that you can really get in and get working with New York State breweries as soon as possible. There's my contact information, although I'm pretty sure everyone on the call has it. Emailing is definitely the best way to get in touch with me, and don't ever hesitate to reach out with questions or comments. So I'm going to turn off my presentation here. Okay. Great. So now I'm going to open it up and see if anybody has any questions that I can answer. I went through a lot of content very, very quickly. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask it.
Megan, I have a question.
Yes, hi.
So my name's Nick. I'm actually from Amherst Label. We're a custom label manufacturing company and a new allied member to the New York State Brewers Association. I think we just signed on a couple weeks ago. So excited to be a part of the conference and appreciate the presentation today. question for you, or really anyone else, if there's any other maybe more veteran allied members or breweries on the call, I would seek your advice also. What would be a good way, I guess, as a new member to just start connecting with people? And again, so attending events and trying to get assimilated, again, here and part of the conference, and definitely getting into that. But any best practices on how to just connect with people? And again, not really trying to do an email campaign or a sales pitch, but really just kind of say, hey, we're new. If there's anything we can do to help, or we'd love to learn about you, and also teach you, I guess, about what we can help with as far as packaging goes. But any advice on how to go about doing that, maybe?
I'm happy to answer it, but since we do have some brewery reps and some board members on the call, Chris or Ethan, are you comfortable answering that?
Can you hear me? My mic wasn't
Yes.
working yesterday.
Perfect.
All right. I think the difficult thing is that when I go to my mailbox, my physical mailbox or my email inbox, I get 6 introductory letters, solicitations a day. So you really, I think, have to stand out somehow. And frankly, being an allied member is the best way to stand out, because I'm much more likely to do business with you, or read your email, or go through your labels, or any products for anyone else on this thing, knowing that you're an allied member and that you've made at least a contribution to the efforts of New York State Beer. So, you know, being an allied member is really the biggest thing that you can do. And then I would say trying to get your foot in the door with someone, because I know, you know, if Ethan uses someone for t-shirts, I'm likely to use the same person that Ethan uses, because he obviously is having a good experience with them. So that would be something, if you do get your foot in the door with someone and you're making labels for X, Y, or Z brewery, to send those labels, send them with the New York label on there, and go that way, because that to me is the most important thing, is that you're a member and you're working with other breweries in New York already.
Great. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Megan, how confident do you think that an in-person event will happen in June?
Gosh, I don't know how to answer that, because it's
I
probably
think it's I'll take a stab at it.
Sure.
I think at some point we have to plan on in-person events resuming. So right now it seems like we've put a stake in the ground for June. The New York State Brewer Association Board of Directors is meeting in person at the end of March. And I do think that at some point we have to plan for things. We have to plan for it far enough out. And if we need to call an audible, then we'll call an audible. But I think right now, likely-ish.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was going. And to Chris's point, we're planning on it, and then we will cancel if need be, as opposed to not planning on it, right? So we're taking the positive assumptive position that come June, we'll be able to have a festival in Buffalo. It may not be as big as we would typically plan. It may be more spread out. Well, you know, each day we kind of revisit these plans. We're definitely more confident in the September and November. They're all outdoors except for Syracuse. That's the only one that's an indoor event that's on the calendar. If you have any insight, Dean, feel free to share it.
Well, I mean, to answer Nick's question, during COVID, it's obviously problematic to connect with brewers, and you know, to Chris's point, you don't want to be blowing up people's inboxes, but you know, you still can get out to local breweries. This is a relationship business. You need to forge relationships with, if you're in Amherst, I'm assuming you're in the Buffalo area, right? Just make friends with the local brewers, and one win leads to 2 wins, leads to 3 wins. But the only way you're going to sell people is you sell from a foundation of friendship, and you know, showing an interest in their business and spending money in their tasting rooms and things of that nature. So that's kind of the grassroots approach. Is you just got to get a win across the board, and the rest will follow.
Thanks, Dean.
All right. Thank you, Dean.
If I could jump in real quick, one of the key things that I've always done throughout my career is working with other companies. I mean, we work with breweries. I work with restaurants, hospitality across the board. So just knowing who my referral partners are and sitting down to lunch with them every other week or so, just to keep up to date with them and find out what they know and then share what I know about who's looking for what. It's real easy for me to introduce somebody that I know and trust into a customer of mine that I'm working with if I know that they're going to get excellent service from whoever I'm introducing. And I just hope that they do the same for me. And that way I'm not approaching somebody cold. I'm not going to a brewery that's not looking for my product, wasting my time and wasting theirs. But if, Nick, you know somebody's looking for a point of sale system or the sensors that we sell, and you're like, I was just having a conversation with XYZ brewery, and you bring me in there, they're probably going to be more receptive to me since they know you than me just walking in off the street and handing them a flyer.
Yep.
And I'll put my email in the chat. I'm willing to talk to anybody that wants to network going forward.
You know, that's something I didn't touch upon. There's a lot of opportunities for allieds to connect with each other and kind of bundle resources and services. Many of our board members and breweries have talked about having almost like a board of directors or advisors to their company, right? A legal advisor and an insurance advisor and an accounting advisor. And there's opportunities for allieds to work together to create packages and programs that you kind of co-present to the brewery side, and that happens pretty minimally, but I think it could be a good strategy going forward as well. We have a couple minutes left. What other questions can I answer for you? I see one question here from Karen about the cost of exhibiting. So we haven't done the budget for the conference for 2022 just yet. It was $849 to exhibit at the Desmond for 2020. And that was based on attendance of about 400. So we're hoping to have higher attendance when we get to the Capitol Center. It's just an incredible space, perfectly suited for a conference of our size. And with everything we've learned doing a digital conference, we fully expect that even though we'll have the in-person at Albany, we'll also have a digital component to the 2022 conference. So I don't yet know what the exhibit fees will be, but I would say they'll probably start at $849 for the conference next year.
Megan, can I jump in? Hi, how are you?
Good.
I was wondering, in addition to like the virtual conference or upcoming conferences and the blog posts, by the way, I'm Julie Rhodes. I guess I should say my name first. I am an allied partner and I teach sales, marketing, and distribution tactics to growing breweries. And I'm not local, but I do have brewery clients in New York State. So I would like to be supportive. I can't just like cruise in and say hi and thanks.
Of course.
But what other educational opportunities are there for? Because I'm big on leading with education and not being like cold call, email, infomercial, all that stuff. But are there any other educational opportunities besides the conferences and the blog posts that you could speak about?
The evergreen content on the website with articles or white papers or longer pieces of content. And I should mention that anytime we post something to the blog or the evergreen section, it goes out in the newsletter. It also goes on the Brewery Only Facebook page. So you get a minimum of 3 touch points per piece that you send to me. And you're welcome. As long as there's value there, I'm happy to share as much of it as I can. We also do have speaking opportunities around the brewers meetings when we had 4 festivals a year, we would have the 4 meetings attached to them. Plus there are 9 regions in the state that would each have its own meeting each year. So that's, you know, that's 13 meetings that we would have each year, and we would have speakers for those. Those were about 20-minute speaking slots. I'm also happy to do kind of one-off digital presentations, much like the sessions we've done for the conference, but do them throughout the year, you know, to share that content and get that content on the YouTube page. So if that's something you're interested in, you can connect with me via email about that too.
Sure. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Leading with education is a great way to go. Any other questions? I know it's going to happen. We're going to get off the session and my email's going to have like 10 questions in it from people. They're going to make me respond one by one.
Megan, I just want to say thanks. This is by far the best guild I work with in 17 states. So thanks for all you do. It's much appreciated.
That $100 check I sent you, Jordan, it should be in the mail.
Thanks so much. I'll buy a ton of yeast.
No, we really appreciate that, Jordan. We really do try to set the standard for a guild and the relationship with allied members. And I hear from a lot of our allies that they see the most value in New York, and we work hard for that to be true. We're really proud of the offering, and I'm glad that you've had a really great experience working with New York. Thank you.
Hey, Megan, Brian here from Ironheart. Just had a quick question about the YouTube channel. We have, you know, kind of our own YouTube channel as well, and are looking to put up some more videos on our end too. Do you guys have any plans to maybe start some playlists, you know, where you can, you know, add in maybe our videos and anybody else that might have, you know, some things that kind of display what they, you know, do? Just speaking, you know, just looking at the Micromatic guys here, Bree Small, things like that. I think it's just a, you know, cool thing for people to get sucked into on the internet. You know, next thing you know, they're watching a video from all the allied trade members. So just wanted to throw that out there if that's a possibility, you know, down the road once things get more on a roll.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that video is becoming more and more important, which is part of why we started our own YouTube channel. We will definitely link to good content from allied members, appropriate content that's helpful to the breweries. So the YouTube channel really is B2B facing. It's not, I think we have a separate channel, right, Chloe, for consumer content, but the channel that all of the conference content lives on is B2B. So it would be a very appropriate place to put content from our allied members. And like I said, the sponsor profile pages for the conference, that's the first opportunity where we've really been able to get video content of our allies out there. And we're hoping to replicate that model on the new NYSBA website as well. So if you have any video content, you know, when we get that site built, you can put it there, as well as we can add it to playlists on the YouTube channel. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, to piggyback off what Megan said, video is preferred. Like the more video content we can receive, the better. That's what gets the most engagement, and it will do great on these sponsor profiles once we get, well, allied profiles once we get them up.
Awesome.
Quick question. Once those allied profiles are up, will we have access to switch out information throughout the year?
Chloe, I don't know if it's too premature to be able to answer that question. Ideally, the answer is yes, because it's a lot of work for Chloe to do it all by hand. And, you know, you might have updates and, you know, the latest video and stuff. Ideally, yes, because, you know, we had 137 allied members, which is phenomenal. We want to grow that number, but it's a great start. And so if we're managing all that content, then it's a lot. So we're hoping to make that capability. Chloe, do you have any more insight into that?
Yeah, so we definitely want to continue to add new content and allow members to update their profiles. So we do need to develop a system of how to do that efficiently. but a lot of the initial submitting your information is through a form. So maybe it will be something similar to that, where you can fill out an update form with new info.
Okay.
Megan, I'm sure you're going to mention it, but I did put in the chat the all members meeting.
Thank you, Chloe.
Yeah.
That's a chance for breweries and allies to come together, as are the happy hours, of course. The happy hours are informal. The all member meeting will be more of a presentation from Paul Leone, kind of more information about what's happening legislatively here in New York State and the industry climate. Okay. Any last minute questions or comments before we sign off?
I guess one more quickly. You mentioned guidelines on blogs. I'm sure if I dig back through the Allied resources, I'll find it. But I don't know if Chloe has a quicker way to access it, or maybe you do.
Yeah, Chloe will post it in chat.
Okay,
also, just so you know, when you join as a member and your payment is processed and comes through to my email, you receive a welcome email from me. If you've joined and you didn't get that welcome email, please let me know. But in that email, I kind of outline all the benefits and how to take advantage of them. And in that email is the link to the blog guidelines. It is also on the membership page on the website, as well as Chloe putting it here. But thank you for following the guidelines. I appreciate it. Looking at some keywords and ways to format content so that it gets the most reach. Okay, well, great. Thank you all so much. I really do appreciate you being here with me this morning. I hope you'll attend other sessions as part of the conference, and especially the happy hours, which is just a nice time to relax together. So don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much, and be in touch soon.
Thanks, Megan and Chloe.
Hey, Allie, how are you?
It's great to see your faces.
All right, everyone, take care.